mic'd up with Mikie Mahtook. Got the boys in. I got Lloyd. We got Mitch. We got Jackie Boyd.
He tried to jump up and he might have knocked it in.
Good timing. Let's go. What a start to the Monday. I mean, I'm from Lafayette. My boys will come in and say,
oh, God. So me and Joe on the ground. I got Joe in the headlock. And he's sitting there, he's punching me in the stomach, like, punching me.
Here, is everyone sitting around? Who here thinks Ochinko can practice today after having 5 full beers? And he goes, Chad Jones, right? Chad's doing the team. 6 minutes. For 7 minutes, right? Chad's like, no, man, I don't think Ochinko can practice today. And I was like, I look back, I'm like, Jesus Christ. I saw you there. You were more fucked up than me.
On the spirit plane had some issues, I think. She was sleep farting.
You heard her or you just thought it was her?
I sat right next to her. I smelled it.
Whoa. What was that?
Time for the show.
I never want to eat so you had a circus or something.
I'm late. Like, I don't even know what I'd be doing.
Now, when you do go to spring training, are you going to bring your chinchilla and your turtle? My dad tell you about that?
In the SEC is, God, they hate fat people. I mean, I get crushed for that. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man.
Hey, just the South, bro. You got a bunch of food down here. Like they should
Players, look at Lloyd.
You know what, Lloyd?
You're looking for a recruiting coordinator, coach. I'm here.
He's like, I'll piss my pants right now.
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, I'll piss my pants right now. Hello. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. Today is Monday, November 13th, and we are here to talk about an LSU.
Sports.
An LSU can't say it like that.
I know.
You can't say it like that. You're stealing from someone else.
Well, that's why we have a lawyer here.
Speaking of, boy, AJ Hawk got a tough tickets. His son almost took his eye out.
Axel.
Axel. It's tough. Got a lot to talk about. Obviously, LSU did what we all hoped they would do. Now, defense is what it is, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what we would like to see change-wise going into next season. But they are what they are. They made a couple stops. They gave up 35 points, but they scored 52. That's what the recipe is going to be for the rest of the year. Jayden Daniels had the best performance probably in the history of college football as a quarterback. Nobody's ever done what he's done. When you start getting into the conversation of nobody has ever done this before in college football, then
You're in a good spot.
you're in a pretty good position. So he goes out there, does his deal coming out of the concussion, and he has his best game as a football player, right? I would imagine he probably hadn't even done that when he was in
Pee-wee.
football, right? So we're going to talk about that.
Not long enough for that.
What's that?
Game's not
No,
long
right,
enough.
right. Saints are back to stinking. They love to do this.
Always
And
right
there's
with the
no,
world.
there's no trajectory. There's, hey, let's win, and let's go 2 steps backwards, then 1 step forward, then 2 steps backwards. So they stink. LSU men's basketball, everything that I talked about last week about the hopes and dreams and the possibilities,
Gone.
boy, they got a lot of work to do. They lose to Nicholls at home. It was not good. Not good. I mean, there's really nothing to say. Like, not good is probably a good way to put it. It was very bad. It was embarrassing. And they're now 1-1 on the year. And we will see what happens throughout the course of this year. Hopefully they are competitive. Women's basketball gets back on the winning train. They are now at number 7 in the country, which I think is good. I think that gives Kim Wilkie an opportunity to let these girls take a step back and say, listen, you can't just rest on what you did last year. Like, last year doesn't mean anything this year. You've got to go out there and you've got to win. We're very talented. We have the ability to beat anybody. You've got to go out there and you've got to play. So I think this is a good wake-up call for them. Texas A&M finally does it. They pull out their wallet and they said, hey, wallet on the table, get the fuck out. You know, like, here,
I got a big problem with it. I'm going to be honest.
Take my money and
big
bounce.
Problem. We talk about it later. I got a big problem.
Yeah, we'll talk about this. Take my money and bounce. $75 million buyout? $76.8 million buyout to Jimbo, and there's no clause in the buyout that states that he cannot have another job. So he technically could get paid next year $5-6 million from a school and get paid the buyout from A&M. Does not take away from the buyout. That's not counting his assistant coaches that they have to pay as well. Mississippi State fires Zach Arnett. Tough situation for him. He's gonna land on his feet, get a defensive coordinator job somewhere. But obviously with late great Mike Leach, they needed somebody to take over. He was that guy. It was just a tough situation. So we're gonna talk all this today. It is Monday. It is normally Moffitt Method Mondays, but the Moffitt Method is hunting. They're hunting somewhere, I think in Kansas or somewhere, and they're going out there and they're searching for where the big bucks fuck. You know what I mean? Like, that's what they're looking for. That's what they're looking for right now.
Need to get on that Joe Rogan trip.
Yeah. So they're going after some of these guys, and so he's not going to be here today. But Keith Ricardo from the G team is here, giving us some law education today,
indeed.
as you always. But before we get there, we are going to talk LSU football. Obviously, they win. The postseason ramifications are not there anymore, right? You can't make the playoffs. Can't make it to the national championship game. Can't make it to the SEC championship game. But you can set yourself up for the future. What did you like from this weekend? Obviously, the offense was put up, historic numbers, and they continued that this weekend. What did you like? Were you at the game? Were you able to get back from your duck hunting trip?
I was there.
Nice.
I was there.
There we go.
I made it happen.
There you go.
Real quick before I talk about that, I do want to give a shout-out to Miss Joan Wharton. She passed away on Saturday. She was the wife of LSU's former chancellor, Jim Wharton, longtime diehard Tiger fan. She graciously let us keep all our tailgate equipment at her house for years and years. She's been awesome. Just kind of fitting for her to go out on an LSU historic night offensively and a big Tiger win.
There you go. Shout out.
Yeah, big shout out for her.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, Tigers offensively put on an absolute clinic. I mean, watching those runs in person with Jayden, it was electric, to say the least. Like, you're watching it, and there's guys that have angles on him, and he's just blowing past
Doesn't matter.
Blowing past him. Yeah,
Defense still stinks.
Defense, it's like beating
Toviano's played well, though. I think he's played well for not playing all year.
Dude, he ain't scared. Like,
he recovered a fumble?
Yeah. He's sticking his head in there. He's giving it his best. That's for damn sure.
And I'm not saying he's playing perfect.
Right.
But, he hadn't played all year. You got 2 games.
He's playing better than what we had seen early on from other guys.
They knocked Andre Sam out with a targeting penalty, which I felt like was pretty bullshit because
we are getting hosed with that right now.
Yeah, that's tough.
Brian Kelly was the first one to let it be known. He started off his whole presser with a diatribe about what's going on here. And
that kind of fired me up a little bit. Like, he's sticking his neck out for his guys.
No doubt, he should.
Yeah,
he absolutely should.
I mean, you don't know what targeting is, that's for sure. I'd imagine his high school highlight tape is.
It's all targeting.
Yeah, I mean,
crown the helmet, lead the feet, the whole deal, right underneath the jaw.
Right, might not be many legal hits on that thing.
Yeah. But now you're all about legal stuff.
Right.
That's you're an attorney. You make sure that everybody's in the right spot. We've talked a lot throughout the course of the year about different things that you guys cover, right? Like, there's not much that the G team can't handle.
That's right.
Right? This week, we are going to talk a little bit about workers' comp claims, right? Obviously, if you don't really know what workers' comp is, it is if you are an employee of a company and something happens while you were on the job or doing whatever the capacity is of work that you have to do, you have the ability to have some sort of work comp claim. Now, obviously, some of that falls in. If it falls in in line with your company, then you're not going to be able to sue. It's going to be more of a, hey, the company's going to take care of what you got. But if it falls out of line of your company, you have the ability maybe to get some compensation. The guys of the G team, not just you, but everybody around in the office, they're able to handle this as well, correct?
That's right. Yeah, we've got some attorneys that, workers' comp claim is some of their sole focus. Now, like you said, workers' comp claims are those claims that arise out of workplace injuries or injuries that occur while you're on the job. And these claims are kind of interesting because they can be brought regardless of fault. So, whether you're at fault for your injuries or your employer or whoever, you may still have a valid workers' comp claim if that injury occurred on the job. And one thing about workers' comp claims is if your employer is the party that's at fault for your claim or for your injury, typically a workers' compensation claim is the exclusive remedy for you to recover. Okay, so essentially that's the only way you're typically going to get paid if your employer's at fault. You're not able to bring a tort claim for negligence against your employer.
Right.
Now, there are a couple exceptions to this.
Perfect timing, Mikey. Right, yeah.
Well, I know that because I am in insurance.
Right.
So I do know that.
And there are a couple exceptions to workers' comp being an exclusive remedy. One is if you're considered what we call a Jones Act seaman. Typically, that's yeah.
Excuse me. So the Jones Act's for people.
Typically, that's
offshore.
Like offshore workers, guys that work on boats, on
Okay.
things like,
Okay.
Maritime law.
right, maritime injury, things of that nature. Or if
Seaman.
you're a railroad worker, and another exception would be if
Prostitute.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know if they've got valid claims.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
Proceed.
Yeah. I don't know if their employers carry workers' comp insurance. Typically,
I would imagine that's probably, and they do. They're not here. Maybe
They don't seem
like
to go by the book. But
where
that's
it's
another-
legal, maybe.
yeah, maybe so. Somewhere out in Nevada or something like
Yeah.
that. Wherever they do.
Amsterdam, something.
Yeah.
Seems like a lot of hoops.
Red light
They don't really
district.
do those.
Yeah.
Another exception would be if you're injured on the job through an intentional tort or, a situation where your employer consciously intended for you to be hurt or, could have been substantially certain that you're going to get injured in a situation. Those would be some exceptions where workers' compensation is not the sole way for you to recover damages.
Lloyd?
Workers' comp sounds awesome.
Well,
You could just get hurt on the job.
you can't. Yeah. Yep. I don't have workers'
The only
comp.
knowledge I have of workers' comp is from the show Shameless, where Frank happens to get, he's always trying to either hit himself with a nail gun or fall at work.
Yep.
And it seems like the quick ticket to get out of a lot of things.
That's the case.
So watch out for those people.
Yeah, you got to watch out for this.
That's not
Do your
good.
due
But
diligence.
if any of these injuries happen in the right way, right? Like happen where it is, they're at
Unfortunate.
fault and it's not something that's intentional, it's unintentional.
Not fraud.
You call the G team at 225-888-8888.
Yes, indeed.
I was like, he's not going to mess this up. No.
Hey, sounding better.
888-8888. That's it.
Yes,
They handle everything. It's not just we've gone through a long list of different things that y'all can do. This is just another thing, just another notch on the belt that y'all can do. Another asset that y'all provide.
That's right.
And there's different departments within the G team. There's specializations that different attorneys have, and whatever it may be, whatever injury, whatever case you may think you have, give them a call. They're going to have somebody that can handle that.
That's right.
That is right. And you'll be able to talk football with Keith
Yes,
Ricardo.
indeed.
He'll tell you about
I'm always
what he likes.
willing to do that.
Yeah, and then talk about the Saints. Saints stink.
Awful.
Saints stink. Stink.
That's brutal to watch right now.
I mean, the problem is they're going to make the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. And then what do you do?
And
They're going to win 6. They have I'm not going to say they're going to win, but they have a chance to win 6 of the last 7 games of the season.
Absolutely.
They're going to make the playoffs, and they're either going to beat somebody they're not supposed to beat, or they're going to be down by 3 touchdowns in the third.
No doubt. And then they're going to get a 20th pick in the draft.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Nothing like purgatory.
Right where we need to be. Pittsburgh Steelers, same spot.
Mm-hmm.
Except Pittsburgh Steelers are 6, which, by the way, they're 6-3 with a negative 26 point differential. Point differential.
That's unbelievable.
So they're 3 games over 500, and they've given up 26 more points than they've scored.
I don't think they've led in yardage in a single game this year.
No.
Are y'all bagging on Matt Canada right now?
Well, I'm actually giving props to Mike Tomlin. Yeah.
Matt Canada's doing the deal. What are y'all talking about? Winning football.
Seems like the general is working. I don't know about the rest of them.
That's
The
tough.
general does well.
You went duck hunting this weekend.
We went
Y'all limited out or what?
He brought one to Tiger Stadium.
Saturday and Sunday.
Was that you that caught the?
That was not me, but I didn't even know that happened until
Me either.
People were blowing my phone up like, "Oh my God, did you see the duck?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I mean, at that point, I'm pretty focused on watching the Jayden Daniels show.
Yeah, and maybe a little intoxicated.
Yeah, a little bit. This
A little
weekend,
bit.
you know, running on a lack of sleep.
Typical Louisiana. Duck flies through. My man picks it up. Barehanded, right in the middle of the whole thing. Caught the duck. He said, "Here you go."
There was like a 30-second period where I thought he was going to ring it.
That dude, I was like, there ain't no way he doesn't just ring this duck's neck right here, and that'll be on national news.
In front of
People will be
100,000
right here.
Oh, the place would have gone crazy.
Right.
They'd have loved it.
Yeah, and then it would have been. Then they had some bad publicity.
That could have
You
been
had
a
to,
disaster.
Yeah, a disaster.
Then the PETA
disaster.
people would have been. Yeah, it would have been not been good.
That would have been a disaster.
Would have been good.
Would not have been good, but
If you do get in trouble like that, call Gordon. 888.
I don't know if they have.
I don't think that's workers' comp.
I don't think the Ducks got workers' comp coverage there. LSU's got 2 games left.
Man,
You
it
got
was a
Georgia State or Southern. Georgia State.
State.
And A&M. Now, A&M's obviously a little bit of a dumpster fire over there. But LSU has a real chance of going 9-3 and then win a bowl game going 10-3, and that's a pretty good season.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to be played for. Are you going to go to the next 2 home games, or are you going to miss next week to go hunting?
No, I'll definitely be there next week. I don't know about
11 a.m. after Thanksgiving weekend. That's tough.
I know.
Can't with the 11 a.m. time slot. That's brutal.
It's a rough one. I don't know. It depends on where I'm hunting at that weekend. But I'm definitely going to be there this weekend.
Okay. All right. Good. Good. What?
What a bizarre.
It-
I'm going to Georgia State, but A&M.
It just
don't know,
it's
but-
the way
it's
it
the time.
falls.
It's the
Yeah.
time. Hunting comes first, obviously.
But
is what you're saying.
normally
get out
I
there.
make it work.
Yeah, but I mean,
limit out by 9:45. Get back.
well, you got to be close. That's the
That's the
issue.
thing, like-
if you're now, if it was close to Lafayette, it'd be different because Lafayette
Right.
you can go 15 minutes out the way and come back.
Man,
but
it's gotta-
there's some spots out here you could do.
Yeah, I'm going to try and make it work. I
Yeah.
typically do. I typically don't miss for a hunt.
Just hop on the bird.
11 a.m.'s tough. That's a brutal.
It's going to be the third 11 a.m. game this year?
Yep.
Wow, that's a lot.
They won an 11 a.m. game in Missouri.
Yeah. One at Mississippi State, too. Right? Yep. That's 3.
This is the first home one.
That's a lot. I ain't gonna lie. That's a lot in one season.
Well, that's what happens when. Well, honestly, I don't think
mean,
it's
what?
LSU's fault. I think this is A&M's fault.
Right.
It's A&M's fault.
They just won 51-10.
If Jimbo doesn't get fired, then that game's not an 11 o'clock game. Probably maybe 2:30, maybe it's a night game. But there's really no what big games going on that night in the SEC. Nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
I mean, I don't believe there's a big one, but yeah. Well, Keith, I appreciate you. Enjoy this cold weather. It's bringing in some nice ducks for you.
Hey, we're gonna have a nice front push through. We're gonna have some
Yeah.
new birds come
No
down.
doubt, no doubt. They
Catch you
haven't
a
scared them
band.
all the way, huh?
Get you a band.
Catch you a band. I saw some videos of the birds flying out the other day at Doulards, and they're coming in and out. They're coming in.
That's Ramsey's hunting grounds over there, right?
Well, look. We got a houseboat out there.
You got one to do large?
That's where the video is coming from. I mean, I don't. I mean, my family, my in-laws have it, but there's a bunch of ducks flying through. So
There ought to be some more this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm ready for them.
maybe a little Thanksgiving trip. Who
It's ready
knows?
now.
He's ready right now. He's gonna go back tomorrow. Keith, I appreciate you every Monday coming in here and giving us some education
All about
on
the
the law.
seamen.
It's all about that's what Lloyd got out of this. It's all about the semen.
Couldn't
As
wait.
long as you get something out of it.
We'll see you next
Can't
Monday.
wait.
Appreciate
We
it.
appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of your Monday night. Enjoy Monday Night Football. Be safe going back to New Orleans.
Will do.
And see you next week.
Thank y'all, fellas.
Later, man. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Let's get into this football conversation a little bit. Well, mixed in with football has been LSU baseball had an 18-inning scrimmage against UL. Dominated.
God forbid you tweet about it.
Pitching. I mean, didn't have to bring that up, but I mean, apparently it matters to some people. I don't know what's going on, but
Internet's a weird place.
I don't know. I had no idea until I woke up in the morning.
I didn't either. Some people just sometimes get in their feelings. It is what
And
it
it's
is.
okay.
You know.
It's okay. There's a lot of room for everybody. Everybody.
Whole lot of internet out there.
I love baseball. I love that people love baseball. A lot of people love LSU baseball. LSU baseball looks really good over the weekend.
Got some good stats.
18 innings. We have some stats. Pitching staff, as we've talked about a lot throughout the course of this fall, I believe the pitching staff is going to be better this year than it was last year. Top to bottom, depth, talent. I think they're going to be better. Obviously, you don't have a Paul Skeens, but you got guys that are going to be really good. You got first-round talent on the mound in the weekend rotation. And
You have a possibility for the entire weekend rotation to be first-round talent.
I think you have a possibility for the whole weekend rotation plus the midweek guy to be first round.
That's just throw that out there.
Yeah. So they're super talented. Win 14-3 in 18-inning scrimmage. Obviously, the game doesn't matter, but it's nice to get to play against another team. And our pitching staff dominated like we.
And that's against the team that was were they in a regional last year?
I believe.
Well, they beat you last year.
I mean, that doesn't matter. I'm just saying.
I know,
Like, we lose a lot. They lose whatever they lost, and you re-up it. It's early, but a team that was a competitive ball club.
Pearson's playing a lot more second base. So that's good. We're gonna start having Jay on a lot more. We're gonna start having some players on a lot more now that football season's winding down. We told you all that was gonna be happening. We are in the process of setting that up and lining that up for the next.
Baseball had a weekend. Especially if
Yeah,
you're
they
a
did.
returner.
Yeah, they did. Listen, so here's my question. We're watching these games, and I'm watching these games. I'm at the football game. We're watching this announcements, right? They just announcement after announcement after announcement. Okay, Dylan Cruz gets announced twice because, he won the Heisman Trophy of college baseball, and then Paul Skeens gets announced. Paul Skeens' ovation was very loud. Dylan Cruz's ovation was somewhat loud. Do you think it had something to do with Veterans Day? It was Veterans Day. They were celebrating the veterans over the weekend. That had something to do with it.
Yeah,
definitely helped it.
Or time of announcement, maybe. The announcement happened in between, I think, before the game started for Dylan, and then in between, timeouts. So, later on in the game, I don't know. But the ovations were different, which I didn't like. I wish that everybody was got the same
In
thing.
lockstep. I don't think people are paying that much attention.
Well, that's my
to
point.
it.
I think Dylan's was early on. So I don't think people now.
And it depends
Paul
on what happens
Skeens
on the
there.
field.
Paul Skeens was in the middle of the game. People were kind of more locked in, and so whatever. And then the baseball team obviously got their rings at 4:30, and then they got announced on the field, which was awesome.
One pitch at a time. Classy rings too. Name another
Bigger than
school
ours.
that had.
Well, we could say the same about the rest. So
No, I haven't.
as-
It's just
as things
you
keep
just
going,
level
you
up.
just keep going
Just
bigger and
level up.
better.
That's the way it works. What was that face look like?
No, I would just say name another school that had back-to-back ring ceremonies. I don't think you can.
I don't think you can. I don't think that there's a school out there that can do that. So shout out to the baseball team. They've obviously very much deserved. All the guys are in town. Kay Beloso's getting married this weekend.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of those guys are staying in through the week. And it seems like they're having a good time.
They should be.
And
They should be.
And they should be. Now,
Scott Woodward couldn't have done better. It's Kim Mulkey, Jay Johnson, foils Texas A&M with the contract that he gave Jimbo. which
that's
they
the
re-upped.
that's the big thing. That's the big thing. Hey, we're gonna sign this, and we're gonna give them all this guarantee money, and make the buyout terms so favorable. Well, actually, that wasn't him. That was when he left.
I know, but he gave him the first contract.
Right, he gave him the
and
first contract.
They re-upped it after the COVID year, which was
Jimmy Sexton's the one who's really
Yeah,
just.
yes.
Can we just talk for just a small second about this buyout right here?
Oh, we can talk for more than a small second.
So
'cause it's
this
outrageous.
buyout to me, this is how outrageous it is to me at this point. one little stat on it is that the buyout is what, $76.8 million?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
If you had to guess, how much money do you think Jameis Winston has made in his 9-year NFL career?
$75 million.
71 point, I think, $9 million. So, and here's my thing too. Like, I guess this is a big turn for it. This is where it gets weird for me, is because we make a big deal about how much money's being thrown around in NIL and how much these kids are asking for and how much it's, basically free agency and how it's, I can't believe they're asking for this. But when you can pay this to a coach to not coach your team, and then everyone can see it and it's public knowledge, it's pretty hard to ask a kid not to ask for a lot of money because they know you got it, right? And so in a way, we've kind of created this whole NIL conundrum that we've created about how so much money's being like just flying around and how people are asking for so much. Well, you're showing them that you have it. And it's kind of hard for them to not be asking for it when this is going on. So it's kind of crazy to me that money like this is given around in a buyout, and if it's not going to get any smaller, then you're not going to ask kids to be able to, one, stay in one spot, and or, hey, just let me play for, basically pennies.
Well, and especially at that school, whenever you've seen how did they make their hay during NIL, they were the one school that it was very apparent we're throwing money around.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, I think everybody's kind of had this conversation where it's how much money do you have, and it feels like unlimited money, right, at A&M. But it's
oil's booming right now. So.
Oil's booming right
good.
now. It's like what's that movie where the old man starts pitching again? Dennis Quaid. Mm-hmm. And they're going up and down. Times
the
are
rookie.
good. The rookie. Like times are good. Times are good. When those things are moving, times are good. But it feels like at some point the chickens have to come home to roost. Where you're like, how much money can you spend?
Well, you got to win.
That's
the thing.
They don't know how.
Right. That's the thing. You got to win. They fired him due to stuck in neutral, is what they were saying. Hey,
7-5.
We're 7-5, 7-5, 7-5, 7-5. We have all this talent. Why can't we win? I'm not saying it was a wrong move. I think it was the right move. I think the wrong part of it was giving him the buyout. They're giving him the buyout the way they gave it to him, right? Like, you're paying this man
$80 million to walk.
Basically $80 million to just not coach.
And he could coach again if he wants. But
and on top
why
of that,
would you?
No, do it. Instead of making $10 million a year, you're gonna make.
Of course you would.
15
it means you don't have to spend any of that $80 million they just give you.
That doesn't go against the money they're paying him. Right. That's the crazy part. He can get a job for another $10 million a year and get paid $20 million, and 10 of it's from.
Not even just that. You can hypothetically go into a spot that hopefully maybe has a great shot, a great situation for you, and you can buy down the price knowing that you got $80 million that you can actually leverage for what? The entirety of that first contract? Why wouldn't you? Right? Like, hey, you don't have to gamble that much. Give me the job. But when I come back, I'll come back to the table heavy because I'll do this thing right. Like that's
let me prove it to you.
Right.
Let me earn
exactly.
Just give me $1 million.
Exactly.
$1.5.
Exactly.
Plus benefits.
Well, I wonder if he would. That's what I'm saying. It comes down to what Jimbo wants to do, right? Like it's either.
I think he wants to coach. I think that's why he signed a contract for 10 years. So, like, I'm sure he doesn't want to sit at home next year because he wasn't planning on sitting at home.
And maybe take a year off, but I mean, I think he wants to coach.
Yeah, I think he wants to coach.
Which crazy. To the next question, there's going to be a lot of openings. You can see him in Arkansas next year.
Well, here's the deal. I feel like so you have A&M, obviously,
open.
Mississippi State open. Arkansas seems like they're going to be open.
And they've got the second probably biggest pockets outside of Texas A&M.
Well, yeah, they have a lot of boosters. They have 3 big boosters.
3 big ones.
3 really big ones. Walmart's
pretty notable.
And Tyson Chicken are about as big as you can get.
And then there's one more.
And you got Jerry who likes to throw stuff out, right? He likes to throw the money out there. So you got those 3 donors, which they want Arkansas to be good. So like you'd imagine they're going to go out there and they're going to dish out some money. There's going to be some other jobs opening, not just in the SEC, outside and all of college football. There's going to be some big openings. Now, the list of potential coaches that A&M wants, or the odds, are kind of mind-boggling to me.
Well, it just shows you how out of touch with reality they are.
They have Bill Belichick on that list. They have Urban Meyer,
the audacity.
They have Deion.
Belichick on that.
They have Deion on that list, right? Which fine. Deion's going to be on a bunch of lists, but like, here's the deal: Deion, in my mind, yes, Deion's awesome. I think Deion's a great coach, and I would love him to coach. Like, Deion probably says, let me just do this. Let me. If Deion stays at Colorado for about 2 or 3 more years and establishes kind of what he did at Jackson State, he's going to be able to get any job he wants. I think he probably knows, like, hey, let me stay here for 1 or 2 more years and let me get my guys. Let me show you. And before he gets set up. Now, Mike Norvell is not going anywhere, but he's on that list. Right? Dan Lanning's on that list. You got a lot of people on the list that are having very successful seasons at very big schools. Like, they have – no, this all A&M people, but A&M people think A&M. Yeah, Bill Belichick. That's the one. That's all you need to hear.
I'll cut the check right now.
Nick Saban's on – no, I'm just joking. Nick Saban's on the list.
But the thing with A&M is if there was anybody that could change the culture there, which I don't think that they want to have happen. They want it to be the milkmen and all of that they do that terrifies everyone. Like, that probably scares Deion off. Like, you would need him to be like, no, I'm doing it the prime way, not the 12th man way. And they'd be like, oh, he doesn't get the culture.
Right.
And so he's kind of off the list in my mind.
100%. But there's gonna be some big jobs out there. There's gonna be a lot of turnaround. There's gonna be a lot of moving parts. There's gonna be a lot of opportunity at LSU, I believe, in the defense side of the ball. I'm not saying our defensive coordinator is gonna be gone, but here's my question. And I don't think Matt House is out. I don't know if he's out or not. I believe the other coaches are out. I believe, and we've talked about this on the show before, I think that Corey Raymond's coming back.
I mean, he was hanging on the field for quite a minute.
That's me. I think he's coming back. Arnett just got fired from Mississippi State. Very good defensive coordinator, supposed to be. I'm not saying we're going to get him, but I would imagine he's going to end up in the SEC somewhere as a DC. Do y'all agree? Disagree?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's possible.
Yeah.
People know his name. He's done well.
He got served an absolute
shit
sandwich.
Yeah, shitburger.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see where he lands. He obviously knows the landscape of this league very well. So that'll be an interesting name to watch and see where he goes. But we'll see.
Yeah, there's going to be some – but here's my next – I guess my point of bringing that up is with A&M, with Jimbo out. A&M's recruiting class over the last couple of years have been really good. You'd imagine some of those guys are going to leave.
Yeah.
Right? So that's kind of open season on that, plus their current recruiting class. So I don't know if A&M's got somebody already in mind. That's why they fired Jimbo right now. But – they're going to have to go and preserve, kind of similar to what we did with when we hired Brian Kelly, right? Like, you have to somewhat preserve that recruiting class. But you're giving opportunity for everybody to come in there and poach some of these guys that you already have. And, you know, it'd be nice to have
I was about to say,
somebody to come in there and go get them.
For me, more so than that recruiting class that they have, you know, coming this year, let's be honest, that's 2 or 3 years worth of very highly touted recruits outside of just the ones that have already left. It's hard for me to believe that they're all not good kids, right? So it'd be interesting to see who's going to get poached from that roster right now because there's some very big names and some very, very highly touted guys in the past. On that team.
Here's my question. And Lloyd, you probably know this. You probably don't know this guy's name. I didn't know his name until it got brought up to me today in conversation. They have a wide receiver there that was one of the top receivers in the country.
Right.
And we're losing some wide receivers. His name is Evan Stewart.
Stewart is so good.
So you'd imagine.
See, I'm not even going on that side of the football.
I'm not either, but
it's open season.
That side of the football is going to be easier to bring guys in here than the other side right now. Because, hey, look at what we have done. 2 years in a row. Last year was good. Look at what we have done this year. We are setting records. We are the best offense in the country. And we have a guy that's going to be very experienced and he's going to sling the rock. Like, we're not going to turn around and hand it off to running backs 50 times a game. Like, yeah, we're going to run it. But he's going to sling the rock. And we're losing 2 of our receivers. Now, Brian Kelly kind of said something today in his presser about Malik coming back. I don't think that's the case. He didn't think – he's like, maybe – and he's not. He kind of like hinted at him maybe coming back, but he's not. This is Corey Raymond dapping up everybody.
Is he going to come back?
He's coming back.
I'd like to see it.
He's from the Berry, coach. Like, it's tough.
Yeah, we got to have a conversation. We got somebody else from the Berry here that I would like to see maybe have a conversation
Did
with.
he coach you in high school?
Yeah.
No, not in high school, though, right?
Yeah, he's my D coordinator in high school.
Was he your DC in high school? And then he was here after you left here, right? He came here when you were here, too?
He was here as like a grad assistant, like helping, like he's a DB coach here, basically.
Yeah, okay. I just didn't know if you had missed him if he coached you at Westgate. Or...
I got the start of his coaching career, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, he came straight to Westgate as a DC there, from there to here. There you go. So, yeah.
I think he's coming back. Who else at A&M do you think we can go get?
My first thought goes to Jordan Matthews, the safety that's scored back-to-back touchdowns in 2 weeks. That safety where LSU clearly needs some help, whether it be this year. I mean, if you could get him now, go get him. But that's why I played part of the Corey Raymond bit, is because I think it's going to be open season on A&M, and if you can bring somebody in like that has ties to
Defensive
Louisiana.
line, maybe?
I mean, you got Walter Nolan out there, who LSU heavily recruited that we interviewed.
A lot of those
and
guys, I feel like it was between
very-
A&M and LSU.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You got a lot of LSU leans that were there, and this is where the whole NIL thing became like a major factor for at least whether it was LSU fans complaining about it because they didn't know why they didn't win in the recruiting battle, or it was an actual factor. These guys are going to be able to get a waiver and be able to transfer 1 year without even having to use the portal. It's going to be, hey, you can go wherever you want because your coach got fired.
Right.
And LSU was on a short list for a lot of those guys, and they got tons of talent.
Now, but
I don't
with
know
that
who are they going to bring in.
With that said, you got to bring in somebody on the defensive side here to be able to do that, right? To make it enticing. Now, you keep Matt House, but you got to bring some guys in around him. That's fine. And you can promise them playing time. You can promise them, hey, listen, our offense is going to score. Our defense
Just needs to be a
needs
warm
to
body.
not let anybody score. Like, score less. You don't have to shut them out. Just score less than they've been scoring this year, and we'll be okay. So I think it's a very
And just we've shit on the defense a lot, but they kind of held their own early on, 4 of 13 on third down, which is all you're asking.
that's it. Listen, they don't have to be great.
Well,
They
listen,
gotta be average.
I don't know about that. And I'm not shitting on what we have coming up next year, but we have guys that are not proven, that have not played together.
Right.
We don't know what the hell we're going to get out of the office next year.
All right,
Meaning,
right.
like,
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
meaning, yeah, they're in the system, but they haven't done it in real time and game time. Like, we
Right.
don't know what we're actually going to be getting next year.
Right.
So you
said
need
that all-
to go.
You said that all along.
Right. So you're gonna need. They're not gonna go out searching for the coach that could just maybe they're gonna go find the best candidate for it that could bring that level of play on the defensive side of the ball as high as possible.
No doubt.
Because that's what's gonna give you the best chance to win. Is hey, maybe I don't have to go out here and put up 40 a game to win.
But you weren't in the camp of saying Matt House getting fired, right?
No, I'm not,
still
and
think he's here.
I'm still there. Like you had young kids playing. You've missed in the portal. You guys on the defensive
that's
line
the
hasn't
problem
played
is you miss
well.
in the portal.
Right, but are we willing to say that it is solely his fault?
Right.
Or
I'm
are we
with you.
willing to say, hey, he's done what he could so much with this. We need to fix some of the other pieces around him, maybe meaning some of the coaches around him and with him, and maybe we need to actually add some more talent into the room, right? Because it's like I said, it's real hard for me to believe that you praise the job he was able to do on one side, and the next
Right.
year in what could be a possible only 3-loss season, you're saying, hey, you sucked. You got to leave.
Right.
So, that's kind of where we're sitting right now. So I still think I personally think the Matt House decision, if there's a decision to be made there, because we don't know that. This is speculation, right? If there's a decision to be made there, I think it'll go down literally to the last minute of the season.
I agree. I think they're going to try to replace parts as opposed to
Yes.
buy a new car.
Yes.
Like and I don't mean any ill will towards Steeples or having. I don't even know who's the secondary to the safeties coach. Like when you have an option out there, and if it's Corey Raymond, which it feels like, I mean, that would be an excellent option. He can do both, and you have somebody that knows Louisiana, and if you can start recruiting that part of the defense where you've been lacking, like since he's left, I don't think that's a mystery to anybody. I think Matt House can run a decent defense. You saw it last year when he had players, and it doesn't help that you get Andre Sam kicked out for targeting when he just got run over.
And my last little part to it is we keep speaking about how good of a coach Corey is, and that is undeniable, right? Like he's a very, very, very detail-oriented, technique-oriented defensive coach. But when you can have the kind of recruiter that you have on the offensive side of the ball and the recruiter as him on the defensive side of the ball, and you can tandem these two guys in this state together and the surrounding area,
You've done it before.
It becomes a little bit different.
Yeah.
So, like, as good of an actual on-field coach he is, it is a huge get for them if they're able to bring him back in the recruiting area of the game as well.
And I think that's the biggest shoe to get him back. Like I don't know if he brought in so many good players that it wasn't really about Corey Raymond. It was DBU because of the players he brought in. I don't think people were questioning his coaching ability, but he was such a coup as a recruiter.
Right.
That's
And
why
developing that talent
And
into
the
being
relationship,
top-tier talent.
Everything that came with it. So it just makes sense.
Here's the deal. When you have a guy like that, right, that's a good recruiter, but also a really good coach that has the respect of the recruits that he brings in, those guys want to play hard for him, right? Like, they don't want to disappoint him. They want to play well for him. They're going to listen to him. They're going to develop. That's a big thing. And he has that. It's obvious that he has that trust with the players that he recruits.
And because, to your point, you can expect this LSU offense, which would be almost throwing, like, it would be taking Jayden Daniels for granted this year if you expect this to happen next year on the offensive side of the football.
Like
he ain't scoring 50 a game every time
Jayden's
they
going to
roll it
account
out.
for 45-plus touchdowns this year,
Well, look at
which we never thought anybody would get close to the 60, and it's still not that close to the 60, but are we really going to sit here and say the next guy's going to come in here and do the same thing in yet year one?
Yeah, right
No
now-
disrespect to us, but come on.
Right now, he's got 38 touchdowns.
There's a reason we're talking Heisman.
30 passing touchdowns.
He's got a chance to get to 50.
Yeah.
Like, he's got a
got 3
legit
games
chance
left.
to get to 50.
He's got
If
3
he
games
plays
left.
3 full more football games, it's not out of the realm of possibility, right? And so it's, like, that's what we're looking at.
Well, Malik's gonna break the wide receiver the
Yeah.
yards record.
Yeah.
Like,
Josh Reed's?
Was it
he's got- Josh Reed's,
283?
I think he's like 283 yards, but he's got 3 games to do it because they count the bowl games. Which,
It should be. That's just how it is across the game.
yeah, but
right?
like, I'm with.
I mean, like, if Joe doesn't play 3 extra games, it's not 60 touchdowns. So, like, that's just it is
I
what
get
it is. Yeah.
It is what it is. So Malik's got 1,284 yards receiving this year and 10 touchdowns.
He's always
Brian
had the
Thomas.
yards.
What's that?
I said he's always put up the yards. He put up 1,000 last year with 3 touchdowns, and now he has,
10.
1,200 with 10?
With 10. Brian Thomas has 13 touchdowns this year.
Seems like a
There
good
may
op-
not have been a bigger riser when it comes
Brian
to.
Thomas.
No, I think Malik. Don't get me wrong. He came out as like as a watch guy and all of this stuff. But let's be honest. Like, if it was just what it was last year, would you still be saying, "Oh, for sure, first rounder"?
No. Well, I think now they're saying not just for sure first rounder, but like top 15.
This is
pick.
my point. Like, he
Yeah.
may have even risen. He might have been the biggest winner of this whole thing right
Yeah.
now when it comes
Yeah.
to
I
where
mean, Brian
he was before.
Brian Thomas moved probably from into the
he moved from
draft
coming
to like
back
second
to
rounder
school
probably.
to
Yeah.
I'm going to the league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
He's a second day guy, I would imagine.
for with the conversation everything that's bubbled around Jayden Daniels and the Heisman and the people that are like, oh, whatever your record is, that should matter. They're like Marvin Harrison, everybody that you're helping Malik Neighbors' case because they put up the same numbers.
Yep.
And it's like,
Yeah.
so if you mention Marvin Harrison, you have to mention Malik. So when it comes to Bolitnikoff or the Heisman, like Malik is getting that same sort of respect and that publication because it has been an absolute tour de force by the national media of Jayden Daniels for the Heisman and everybody that tries to buck back.
Well, I think
then
people-
Malik enters the conversation.
I think when people that haven't really watched him play yet in person got to see him last week, like, you don't realize how good he is until you see it in person. Right? You can see it on TV and it's like, oh, this guy's awesome. But then, like, you see it, it's like a basketball. You watch it.
Meaning, you talking about Jayden?
Yeah. Well, both.
I'm gonna be honest
Both.
with you. I don't even think it's that. I really think it's the simple fact that everyone's seen it as no huge moments in Florida State game, no huge quote unquote moments in the Ole Miss loss, no huge moments in the Bama loss, right? And then all the other games, they just railroaded people for the most part. Like, they did what they needed to do. So I think people finally got a chance to see, oh my God, what are those numbers? And that, I think he's finally introduced himself as, yeah, this is real. Where it's like, yeah, I'm carrying this team. I know you kind of didn't think it. You didn't really want to believe it. You saw it a whole, schedule of games last year. Like, no, this is what's happening right now.
And I think even as much as I hate to say it, like him being out of the Alabama game kind of forced that narrative too, where you saw how well how much he was carrying LSU, and then when he's out the game, how much of a difference. And that's no knock on us, but it's just how much of the load that Jay Daniels is carrying for the football team. We're like, I mean, you saw it against Florida too, where he goes for over 200 rushing, I mean, he has 600 total yards, and that's one player.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen.
LSU had 703 total offense, and he had over 600 by himself.
Can I ask a question?
Yep, you can ask whatever you want.
Where for sure has the people on the show been singing this since day one, though?
What
Right here.
Yo, us.
Or right here.
Us.
Right
Baseball
here.
show.
When everyone saw
Baseball
him,
show.
when everyone saw
Last
him
year.
throw for 350, and they said it looks the same as last year, but he only did that one time last year, and he was 1 for 1 in week 1 of doing it this year. I'm like, something's got to be a little different, and it's proved to be very, very, very different.
Now, not only are they saying Heisman, they're saying, oh, he's better. He's Lamar Jackson, but a better passer. Yeah. He's a way better thrower of the football with a better arm than Lamar. I'm like,
I had an argument with someone probably in like week 3 of the season. So this isn't even just that first game. And the guy was basically like, his receivers do all the work for him. I need my quarterback to be throwing for well over 10 yards of completion. I think right now he's the only quarterback in like the top 30 in passing yards that's over 10 yards of completion. Yeah. Like just crazy stuff like that where I'm just like, bro, like just watch the game with your eyes.
He averages a first down every time he touches it.
Yep.
Regardless if it's rushing
and
or
I bet you if you ask him, he's like, man, I wasn't as sharp as I should have been throwing the football against Florida, right? Like my favorite moment of the game was he had Mason Taylor open on the sideline. Let it sail on him a little bit. The next play, he throws an absolute dime to Brian Thomas, which is a way harder to throw.
That was best play of the year.
First off, you're talking about that throw. Did you see Malik on that throw? Malik was like, "Where's that going?" I thought that was, oh wow.
Watch it go over his head.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
Like he threw it, and I'm like, because you can see Brian Thomas open. I'm like, oh my god, but he's got to like put it.
He's fitting between cover 2.
And he missed he missed an easier throw.
Yeah.
And he probably mad at himself because that would have been a big play too. Next play, drop it in the bucket. Tough, harder throw.
Things that people didn't think he could do.
And then obviously, just the way he runs. You know, like the 85-yard touchdown.
He runs like a
and
kid
then
with
55-yard touchdown, and then like the one where he hopped out of bounds, like just
slippery, man. He's like running water, dude. Like it's just slippery. Like you just can't get
like
two good hands on him for the most part.
Yeah, if he was playing 2-hand touch, it'd be tough to get him down.
Yeah.
He's like a kid in kindergarten that's not supposed to have scissors, and he just takes off. You're like, oh God, where's he gonna go next?
How do we corral this?
Yeah. End zone.
How'd you do this weekend on your bets?
Fine. I have to check.
I won 7-2 in college.
I know you did. That's why you wanted to steer the conversation that way.
I know. I wanted to just pat myself on the back because I don't do that very often.
Futures Lloyd is back. Maybe, hopefully, maybe.
Futures Lloyd won what?
It's Heisman, coach.
Oh, what did you get the odds at?
1,800. So
so you just recently you didn't take him like before the year?
No, he was. I took him in the preseason, but he was the third overall. Like he was like the third favorite.
Yeah.
And I
that's
didn't
right.
think
Well, after Florida State, they had.
I know I should have taken it again.
Yeah.
Because somebody has it at plus 3,000. I saw online. Which, like I said, this has been an absolute. Whether it be Booger McFarland, whoever national media guy that you want to put out there is like they're not letting the Jayden Daniels narrative die.
Oh no, it's
which is finally
well,
what
it's
you
not
needed.
just LSU guys either anymore. Like it's
national. Pate just put it out there. Josh Pate.
Oh yeah,
put it out there.
Cole Cuba, who called the game, talked about it, right?
Yeah,
like
Mike Golick Jr. Like it's finally gotten to that point where it's too big to ignore.
Barstool Big Cat.
Oh, he's got a future on it, 1,000%.
No doubt.
But the only thing that you have to worry about, I guess, if you're going to talk Heisman talk, because LSU doesn't have a whole lot more to play for. I guess 10 wins is something that everybody wants, but
pride, dude.
No, that's the biggest one to play for.
I'm just talking about a narrative outside of like Baton Rouge.
Well, that's never been played. The 10 wins it's huge. That's a
team.
That's
Absolutely.
a huge. If you can sit here and go year in and year out, what teams are winning 10 games? You'll be like, oh shit. Well, that's the teams we talk about as national championship contenders every year. So like winning 10 games a year, it's a huge thing.
Listen, we as fans expedited the process.
1,000%.
Based off what we saw last.
I don't think it was this room.
Was that?
I don't think it was this room did that. I just think
No.
from what you saw last year, whenever it was SEC you win the West, it's like, well, national championship next year.
Well, I think we're being completely honest. When you start the season as a top 5 team, like it's there.
It's on the table.
Yeah, it's there.
And I think a lot of it was because you got the whole offense coming back. You got and look, yes, the offense has been better than advertised, right? Like you knew it was going to be good. It's better than we could have ever thought it was going to be this year. Defense, you had to hit. We talked about you had to hit on the portal, and that's just too hard to do every year. It's just almost impossible. You had injuries. You had guys that didn't play well. You've had haven't developed. Now I think this is kind of a blessing in disguise, right? Yes, I would rather have been in a playoff run right now. But now you're allowing these young guys to develop, and you're allowing them to play, and you're allowing them to do these things, and they're going to be better for it next year. And now you're going to go out. You're still going to have to go out there, and you're going to have to fill in some gaps, but you're going to be better for it next year. But fans, I think, expedited the process in their heads. 10 wins. We went to the SEC championship already. We're definitely going to do it again. Like, we need to expect that championship, playoff, the whole deal. Well, in reality – Brian Kelly knew we don't have the dudes yet to do that year in, year out.
Everything has to go perfect.
Hey, but let's be honest. Okay, the fans do expect national championship, but that's also because let's say you do get to 10 wins. Say you do finish out this regular season and you do win a bowl game. Now you have 10 wins. A better year technically would have been an 11-win season, right? Which would basically mean you'd still be in the national championship talk a week further, pretty much. So it's not super unrealistic. It's just crazy to see in a way, kind of the hop off the train when it's, national championship is no longer a thing. When you still have a really, really, really good football team. So that's to me.
And that was disappointing to see exactly. I get it. It was student section, I get it. You want to win, you want to do this, but they don't need to leave early.
Right.
That was disappointing.
Right. And it was a close game.
It was a good game. It was a fun game.
Also, they started the whole "it sucks to be a Florida Gator" chomp with 9.5 minutes left, and it was only a 10-point game. Like, that could be a little premature, and that was setting yourself up for potentially having
egg on your face.
Yeah,
I will say this. We talk about it like this going into next year. This is super, super, super premature. But if you think about this place in November with maybe 2 losses and you're not out of it, it's going to be rowdy. Forever.
Great point.
It'll be rowdy here forever.
At this point, next year, you're not out of it right now.
No, not at all.
You know what I mean? Think about it with the playoff, with the 12-team playoff. You're not out of it right now. Right now, if this was next year and you're 7-3, 8-3, you are not out of it yet.
Yep.
I mean, you were 19th. What are you right? 19th in the country. Now it'll probably
15.
Now that's what I'm saying. But before the new polls, now you're 15th. You got 2 weeks left. You go obviously this week, whatever. Then you go beat A&M or whoever you're playing last game, and you go 9-3. You have a chance to be the 12th team.
Yeah.
And that way you have a chance to be upset the number 1 team in the country. Yep. You think a number 1 team in the country is going to want to play LSU?
Nope.
You think Michigan or Georgia? I don't know. Let's say Ohio State, Michigan, Georgia.
I'll give you what so On3 has been doing this all year where they've kept up with the projected 12-team playoff model. So right now it would be Georgia 1, Michigan 2, Texas 3.
What?
Because they're going by conference champion.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why LSU won't be in. Then you have to start going. I'll go through the rest of it. Florida State as the ACC champ is in at 4. Ohio State's your at-large pick. Oregon, Pac-12 champ, if they win against Washington, then Washington would be your at-large pick because head-to-head. And then you go Alabama at-large if they lose to Georgia in the SEC championship, which would be
Alabama's a 6 seed.
They'd be an 8 seed.
8 seed.
Louisville is an at-large pick. Missouri is a 10 to an at-large pick. Oregon State, 11 at-large.
But that's my point. That's right now.
Yeah.
Right.
But my point
That's
is,
2 to go.
LSU would still be in contention with 2 weeks, with 2 weeks left, right? You're
so when it's
out.
a 10-point game in the 4th against Florida, no one's like, oh, this game doesn't matter. It's still still high stakes.
I get what you're saying. Right now, you have at-large bids, but hey, listen, Missouri could slip up or someone else. Right now they're not out of it. It's right now they're out of it. They can't make the playoff.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do.
Next year, you can make the playoff right now.
But my only contention would be you can't lose the way that it still doesn't change a whole lot because you can't lose one more game than you've already lost. Right? If you play an at-large team like you do early on in the season when you play UCLA, USC, which is already set up.
No, I get
you can't
that.
lose that game.
No,
and
I
then
get-
you can't drop one more other than Alabama.
I understand that, but
You're still playing for something.
you still have the
technically.
ability to back in to a 12 seed. Like, you
Yeah.
still have the ability to say, what if something happens these next 2 weeks and someone loses and gets upset, and now all of a sudden you're the ranked 12th and you make it in there. You know what I mean? Like, you have that ability to still do. I'm not saying it's likely, or right now, but you're ranked 15th in the country.
Yeah, you're talking about this year you're playing for 10 wins versus next year if you're playing for 10
For
wins, you're playing for a
the
playoff
12 seed.
spot. Yeah.
Yes.
Which is why they're doing
That's my point.
And
that is my point.
If you get even better, you're playing for a home playoff game in Tiger Stadium, and I dare you
Right.
to fucking leave.
Right. And so I think
Right now, all top 12 teams, there's 2 lost teams in the top 12. So you got 2 real weekends left, and then obviously maybe even a conference
you have
championship.
conference championships.
Like, anything can happen in 3 weeks.
'Cause here's
you're
my-
sitting in that spot.
2007.
Here's my question.
Exactly.
Last year, LSU's a 9-3 team going into the conference championship, and lose to Georgia, go 9-4. Are they in? Probably not. You're gonna have that. You know, again, with other teams, like the ACC is going to have a 2 or 3 loss team going into the conference championship. The Big 12 is going to have a 2 loss team going into the conference championship this year. Like Pac-12 potentially, like, you know.
Especially with conference realignment. Like, that's
Right.
part of it, where you
Right.
have Oklahoma and Texas hopping in the boat. It'll be interesting, but I just thought that before I saw, like, these playoff scenarios, like, painted through this year's lens, I was like, oh, LSU's going to probably be in the playoff every year. But the way that the way they set it up with the, like, at-large bids and then the conference championship, you're like, oh, you still could be on the outside looking in.
Not just Power 5 conferences. It's got to be, you know, Group 5 too. But
It feels like you're one of the best 12 teams in the country.
I think the
whole
SEC
argument is-
was going to sit there looking at borderline 3 teams a year to get in. And that's about what they'll try to – the way they've set it up is kind of how it'll cap it.
Yeah. But, you know, the whole point of this conversation is LSU would have the ability right now to still play for that. You know what I mean? Like, you still have the chance of getting in there after these next 2 weeks going 10-3.
And I think a lot of why they, like, set it up this way, or maybe this is just me thinking about it now, is it kind of eliminates the opt-out for those big-time players like a Caleb Williams. If they were to get in, it's like, I can't sit out the season. I got a playoffs to play
Right.
instead of a bowl game.
Right. Well, and here's the other thing is, like, you're going to have the SEC, like Texas and Oklahoma are now in the SEC, so now their schedule gets way tougher. USC and Oregon, those guys going to the Big Ten, their thing gets
Everybody's going to eat each other alive.
which is great because
and
now
is just going to –
so now a 3-loss team has a chance to make it into the playoff because you're going to have a lot more attrition. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to be playing a tougher conference schedule.
Well, I mean, yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
But here's my thing. Yes and no, because I still think they're going to keep somewhat of the –
Status quo.
No. Like basically the way they formatted the year, where it was always you're gonna have 8 tough games because that's your conference teams for the most part, and then you're gonna have kind of those 4 cupcakes, if you will. Well, now it's kind of going to 8 of your conference games, 1 more tough game. I think it's kind of gonna still be around the
right,
same
but my
thing.
point is the conferences that they're going into are going to be tougher.
I agree, but going to play Vandy is not that much of a
No.
You know what I mean? Like, so, like, it's still gonna – they ain't gonna just load up a schedule here and then there. Like, it's still gonna kind of be –
No, I get that,
Yeah.
but you have more opportunity for somebody to slip up. Like, you're not gonna go play. I'm trying to think of like a bad Nebraska. All right, Nebraska.
New Mexico State.
You know, well, yeah, but I'm talking about conferences. Like, Baylor right now stinks. Like, they're not sneaking up on anybody right now.
Right.
TCU almost did against Texas though. Almost. But, like, that's my point. Is like you're gonna have these teams that you're going in. Like, the Big Ten has a better football teams than top to bottom right now, I think, than the Pac-12. Right? Like, this year's an anomaly.
I was about to say that.
Historically, over the last 10 years, you're gonna have like the Iowas are going to play really good defense, and they're going to give you a chance, and they went under.
I did. I took it.
You did?
Yes.
You did? The Iowas are going to, like, put you – like, they're going to play really good defense, right?
Yeah, the Iowas and the
Iowa
Nebraskas
States
of the world.
and, like, those, like, they're going to put themselves in a position to compete. They may not look good, ugly. It may be ugly, but you're not going to go play the Washington States. You know what I mean? That are just in conference and whatever. So,
I mean, would you rather play – LSU or Iowa right now? Like, if you're like, that's not
I'd
how they're
rather
going to
play
pick
Iowa.
the playoff, but that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Like, That's what's so frustrating about if this year was a 12-team playoff and LSU wouldn't be in, like as of right now. It's like you feel like you're close enough to be like, well, if I'm LSU, I'd line it up with anybody just because of how good your offense is. And I would say the 3 games that you lost, you had a chance in all of them. Florida State, I guess, is the outlier where it kind of you were winning that game, but you just kind of ran out of steam, but you didn't know who you were.
Right.
And now it feels like anybody can get 50 on their head if you're playing LSU.
I'm just happy it's going to 12 teams.
It's kind of crazy how long it went with the 2-team and then got to 4 teams and how long it stayed where you're
it's going to take, and like people are going to say, well, it needs to be 24. It needs to be the.
No. This is where it's going to stay at.
It needs
12,
to stay at
12 is exactly.
I think 12 is where it needs to be.
Yeah.
16 would be great.
No, 12 is fine.
I think 12 is good.
Poor Texas A&M going into next year, no head coach going into the 12-team playoff.
I'm
with
interested
an
to see.
expanded
I'm
SEC.
interested to see who they grab. I really am. I'm interested to see who they go and bring in because they're going to pay, even though they're paying. I don't care what these guys at A&M say on these interviews they have. They have the money.
They have the money.
Oil's booming. You're going to be okay. They're going to figure out a way to structure. You're fine.
They're doing exactly what they should be doing, though, right? They're going to keep trying to find a way to buy that thing down a little bit, knowing how much they're already coming out of pocket. Like, we're not just going to – they're not going to let you just hold them for ransom over this this situation.
No. Right.
So they already came out and, look, let's get ahead of this.
They're going to make a good decision on who they hire.
Right.
Who's out there, though? Like, you would have to – there's not – it doesn't feel
There's
like –
a lot out there. If you're going to go get one of the top tier guys from a school, you're going to have to pay them. But if you go get a – guy who's
already coaching
and up and coming that's not at a top tier school that wants to get to a top tier school, maybe you can get him at a little bit of a discount.
Like, I don't think Lance Leopold was built for this life in the SEC. Like, that's not a –
No.
It feels like they're going to have to make a Lane Kiffin type hire.
But you're going to have to pay him.
That's what I'm saying.
You're going to have to pay him. You're going to have to pay Dan Lanning. You're going to have to pay these guys who are having a lot of success at big schools to come to A&M. Like, A&M is – yeah, they have a lot of money, but it's not like they're the –
But
it's not like you're Alabama when Nick Saban retires.
But that's what they painted themselves as
I know that.
picture.
But they're not.
They've kind of done it to themselves, is what I'm saying. Like,
what have you won? Nothing.
Nothing, but it's seen as a premier job because of how much.
It is a premier job because you've got resources and you're in Texas.
You just got resources.
And you're in the
That's
SEC.
all you have.
Right? You have the ability, but like you haven't done anything, so it's not like, yeah, I'm gonna leave Oregon, where I'll go 12-1, and I'm in the playoff this year to come coach there. Like, unless you're gonna pay me.
I think that's the best point you just made because now the SEC, in my opinion, is going to be – it's not dumbed down as far as for talent, but it's going to be dumbed down as far as high as you can go just because of how they're going to set up the playoff situation. Like, you're not going to be screaming for 4 SEC teams to get in because they're going to make it to where it's, hey, no, I mean, it's the conference champion and, at large. So, sorry.
It's not a regional sport.
It won't be that anymore. So, to your point is you're going to get the Oregons and them being like, oh, all we got to do is win this conference championship to get in. All we got to do is maybe be the second best team in this conference to get in.
That's what I'm saying. Willie Fritz ain't going anywhere.
So why on earth would I go down to the SEC right
Maybe that's who they go get.
But no, but why would he leave if he's in right now at Tulane? He's like, I can make the playoff every year.
100%. But as a coach, I agree. But like maybe I want to go coach at a bigger school.
I think
I want to go do this in the SEC.
Yeah, I think that the path that what they're going to probably try to sell and what you're going to have to really believe in if you're going to take that job at A&M is that you believe that you're going to turn that into the cream of the SEC cream.
Right.
And do it fast.
And what's Willie Fritz making at Tulane? $3 million a year?
Oh, I don't know.
I mean,
that's where.
But that's my point. Like, okay, hey, we're going to give you 6. We're going to double your pay. We're going to give you $7 million this year to come coach over here. Like, Willie Fritz, he wasn't on any list, but he's.
Well, he was last year.
I know, but I'm talking about his on the A&M list that we saw that I think is a little outrageous.
Oh, Belichick, Bill Parcells.
I'm gonna go read. I'm gonna go find this list. I'm gonna read this list out. Oh, Dan Campbell was on that list.
That's the one.
Dan Campbell, odds 14-1. Dan Quinn on the list.
Maybe.
Cliff Kingsbury, maybe. Bill Belichick and Jim Harbaugh both on the list. Jim Harbaugh ain't leaving Michigan unless he's going to the NFL.
Exactly.
Bill Belichick
are
ain't leaving the NFL. Bill Belichick hasn't coached in college football. Bill Belichick's an NFL coach. He ain't coming.
He coached.
He ain't leaving.
Navy.
Yeah, but he ain't leaving New England to go coach college football. I can promise you that.
Edelman.
Mike Elko, potentially.
But that's what I'm saying. Like that is I don't know if that's what moves the needle for them. Like the Duke head coach that's doing okay.
I mean, but Willie Fritz is not on
doing
this.
great.
Willie Fritz is not on this. So, I'm not saying he's
John
going to get
Gruden?
Huh?
John
Gruden's not on that either, which actually
That's a sneaky name. You know John wants back into
surprising.
coaching. That's
Surprising.
A sneaky
What if John Gruden wouldn't coach there?
They would love him at A&M.
I mean, John Gruden would
He's
be
a big,
coaching.
like, he
John
feels
Gruden
like
would be
he-
coaching another Johnson.
name. You think they'll put firewalls on his email?
Absolutely.
John Gruden was the head coach with Max Johnson's dad, right? Brad Johnson was a quarterback.
I think so.
Wasn't
yeah,
he?
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna coach his son. Actually, is Max a senior? Is he done
No,
finally?
No, he's a junior.
No
and then
way.
you still have the
No
other.
way.
You have the other.
Yeah, but Max is done, right? He's done. This is last year.
He's got a COVID year
I feel like he's going through that right now.
and a redshirt year. Don't you doubt Max Johnson. He's got as much time as he needs.
That's crazy. That's crazy. It's gonna be nuts. Coaching is going to be
He's a junior.
wow.
Major is undecided.
Just be a doctor. You're there long
He's
enough.
him and Andre Sam. Finally missed football for the first time in his life. Went 7 years without getting targeting until Saturday.
I'm surprised they didn't get Josh Williams for targeting because he's just blowing people up all game.
That was awesome.
It wasn't just the last play either that they show. They did it 3 different times throughout the course of the game where he just absolutely just crushed somebody.
And
Are you gonna take my parlay? I mean my
I teased it.
no, but are you gonna take my
Your props?
yeah? You don't have to. It's fine.
I just put in the.
I'm on a prop heater right now.
I know. What were they? Give them to the people.
I'd like Dalton Kincaid over receptions.
I like that one. I'll
It's
put
5.5.
that in.
That's plus money. So Vegas doesn't like it. I like it though.
I liked it. They don't like it because he's had like 9 the last like 3
Right.
games.
Yeah,
They're
there's
like
a
it's got to
spike-
stop
spike
somewhere.
play.
I also like
What's the odds boost?
I like Diggs over. I think it's 6.5 catches.
He may have that in the first quarter.
I like that. I like over passing attempts for Allen.
I like
over passing for
attempts.
Russell Wilson.
I like the over attempts and the over completions for Josh Allen, both of them.
Yep. I think it was 24.5 with the completions.
With 33.
33.5, I think,
Yeah. I like
for
I
the
like
total
both of those.
attempts.
I like both of those.
Samaji
Pirine.
Perrine? Over 1.5 at minus 179. So.
Oh, I also took Josh Allen over 6.5 rushing attempts.
I like
I'm
that.
not saying going yards, but attempts. He did it. I did it last time I played. He did it. He hit it. He hit it in the fourth quarter, but he hit it. Took him a little bit.
I'm just gonna do the Dalton Kincaid.
You're just doing one.
Just do one.
Okay. When I hit the parlay that I just did, you're very mad at me for the second
No,
parlay
I'll be
in a row.
happy for you.
You're very mad at yourself for not taking it.
I'm trying to win money again.
Road to 2K. I'm on the road to 2K. I'm on the road to even.
I won last week though, but I got a 2-leg teaser. Over 40.5 and Bills minus 1.
How?
You like that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why?
I like that.
Just take it. You can take it.
I'm not taking. I already took all my bets for the night.
It's responsible gambling.
I already took my bets for the night. I have my limit for the day.
Responsible.
What a stinky Monday Night
You
Football
want me
game.
to just keep throwing it in there or what?
Responsible.
What else are we going to talk about today?
I mean, I feel bad for John Emery.
Me too, man.
He was
Me
about to
too.
get going.
So is it,
He
is it
did the
con- is it
whole I'm
confirmed
a
or
jump
no?
cut and just fell.
Is it confirmed or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, torn
is.
ACL
Yeah.
came out today, but he shook somebody up, got to high step, and I was like, oh, it's going to be a John Emery
I felt
game.
so bad for him, man. He's going through a lot.
COVID year. You can come back. Medical red shirt.
We can't medical redshirt this year.
I don't think he's played. He didn't play in the first game. I don't know if he's touched 4 games yet.
Yeah, but that's like a normal redshirt.
I know you can get a medical red shirt.
I don't know how that works.
You should. You're a college athlete.
Yeah, but I've never had to worry about a medical redshirt, thankfully.
Yeah, very
You know,
thankfully.
like I mean, never had to worry about medically redshirting and not being hurt, so that's good. Yeah, it's tough for him. I feel bad for him because
It would still be
What?
a tough return anyway.
Okay, maybe so. I don't know. I'd have to do the math. Suffer an injury that is deemed season-ending. Check. Injury must occur before the halfway point of the season. Not a
Didn't
check.
happen.
No check.
But Did he participate in more than 30% of the season's games? I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know.
Participate as far as being active. Yes. He did.
You can finagle those numbers.
No, you can't. I mean, they can go.
Give the man a lane. What else is he going to do? He needs football.
Hey, man.
Jeez.
Hey, come on.
You don't know what that
You don't
man's
know.
got going on.
You don't know that.
Wow.
You don't know.
His academic career is very long and tenured. That's all I'm saying.
Wow.
He's supposed to be an NFL football player. That was his plan. I've got a pretty strong feeling about that.
Yeah, for sure. But, like, you still can
I
do
just don't
it.
want him selling insurance.
Me either. Well, wow.
I mean, he's just shooting. Pew, 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 pew.
What the hell is that
It's
about?
all over the place.
You're
right
shooting
now.
all kinds of shots out of here.
Good
It's
God.
bullshit.
I just want John back on the football team.
Yeah, me too. Like, I wanted him to have that year that everybody anticipated him having, and just had a bunch of ups and downs, and it just sucks that he had a.
Never been teased more in my life. So many flashes.
But yeah, it's tough.
It's tough.
I feel bad for him.
Me too. I wonder if Diggs is going to come back. I don't know what they just said. Upper body injury. I don't know what they didn't specify.
I don't think he's done. I think he'll probably be back. But
Has Brian Kelly said anything about it?
I just gave Josh Williams his flowers, which
He should have. He should have got. He
But
should have
that's-
given his flowers.
I mean, we talked about the LSU running back room early in the year. Like, why do you have 8 backs?
That's why.
Look at him. Needed all of them. Hey, Trey Bradford's still out there somewhere.
Yeah, what's the deal with him?
I don't
What's
know
the
if
deal
he's
with
on the
him?
team.
What's the deal with that?
he may still be able to get a red shirt.
Yeah, again.
Where this
I
thing
haven't.
is
Has he
right
touched
now.
the ball since the first play of the season?
Starting running back.
Trivia question. No doubt. No doubt.
How about Caleb Jackson just punting the ball back to Florida? After
Yeah.
he scores his touchdown in his first SEC game, and then just kicks it right back.
Yeah.
He's good though.
And we got it back, didn't we?
Yeah.
Is that when they fumbled? Or
Uh-huh.
they scored on that?
No, it was
it-
quick change. They got it back.
I know they got it, and then we got it back, right?
That's what I'm saying. That's LSU. got it
Toviano.
back.
That's what Toviano recovered the fumble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perk almost went down. That was scary. Mm-hmm. Fun game though. I never felt like it was actually in doubt. I feel like LSU was going to win that thing.
I
the
never
whole
felt
time.
like it was in doubt.
Yeah.
I really never.
It's
did.
hard, it's hard to feel like it's in doubt when the offense has been clicking the way it's been clicking for the past, 2.5 months? But when they do it and they're playing ahead, you're like, oh, whoa, we're good here. We're good.
That's what I'm saying. If you can if you can make them, you don't have to go 3 of 11. 5 of 11 would have been fine. But if you can get off the field on 3rd down and you're starting to see some of these young bucks show up, like you
Yeah.
said, blessing in disguise, it really does feel like you're starting to have at least something to build on next year.
Is Ole Miss the cap at Ole Miss is like Penn State? Like, hey, no matter how good you think you're going to be, you're always going to lose to the big dogs. You always lose to Alabama, LSU, or Georgia, right? Like, they beat LSU this year, but, like, they're going to have – you give your best season, you're going to lose 2 games.
That's what made the Alabama.
Penn State, you can be awesome. You're going to go 10-2 every year. You're going to lose to Ohio State, and you're going to lose to Michigan every year.
That's a good point.
Every year.
I also talked that shit about Georgia, and they went up and hung 50
Oh,
on
yeah.
them. Oh, Georgia, they just
I
like,
took the
they'll
under.
run up
That was
and-
one of the ones I lost. I took the under.
He just went and hung 50 on them, so yeah.
Every time I told him that's what
No,
I was
and it wasn't because I
No, I
didn't
took
believe
the
in
under,
Georgia.
too. Yeah.
It was because I just thought that they were going to shut down. I thought it was going to be like the Alabama. I thought they were going to shut down Ole Miss, and they did. But
didn't
Ole
know
Miss
they were gonna put
did
50
not
on
shut
them.
them down at all. 52 points.
And that's, I guess, it does feel like the same thing. Like you were waiting for the other shoe to drop for Ole Miss all year, and that's why you kind of got your hopes up going into LSU Alabama. Where it's like, okay, if you can pull off this win in
And you would have.
Tuscaloosa,
You would have.
you
You,
set
you saw
yourself
this
up.
happening. You saw this happening. If you'd have beaten Alabama, you'd be right where you needed to be. Everything's happening the way you thought it was going to happen, except you just didn't take care of business.
I think Ole Miss they'll probably be one of those teams where you can really, truly start to believe it if they can ever go on the road and win big games like that.
Yeah.
And they haven't. Remember last year they came here and got smacked.
doors blown
This year they go to Alabama, get smacked. They go to Georgia, get smacked. So
Now, I think that their next progression is, hey, okay, we got smacked. We're out of the playoff. We're out of this. Let's finish the season with 10-2. Like, gotta finish the season.
get to
10-2.
an 11-win season.
Last year they were 7-0,
and lost
and
5 in a row.
they lost 4. Or yeah, I think they went 8-5, or 7-5. Yeah, that can't happen.
They have
Maybe
their
if you want-
quarterback though for next year. Your boy.
Walker.
That's the thing, though. That just how we were talking about it earlier, what they did last year, going 7-0, and it ended up not winning 10. teams that win 10 year in and year out, those are usually the teams when the season starts, you're like, yeah, I think this is probably one that's got a chance to win an Natty this year.
Yep.
Just kind of how it goes.
Yep.
So, like, getting to that 10 number, however it may be, whether it's in the regular season and or via
Bowl win.
playoff or bowl game or whatever, like, that's shit's important.
I think I had a case on Mondays today.
You do. You've been yawning. I've been trying to keep you off screen when you yawn.
It's been a long day.
Long day.
The weather's not helping me. The weather's not helping me.
Oh, the weather was ugly today.
It's going to be ugly all day tomorrow. It's going to rain.
Today.
Now, it's been the little drizzle, aggravating rain, but, boy, we needed it.
We did.
We needed the rain.
It hadn't rained in a while.
Y'all sound so old right now.
No. It's been brutal. Like, you look at I see the basin every day, basically. When I go back over the basin, like, you can walk across the basin. That's not good for anything, dude.
I guess I need to be more observant. I don't look at
You
the
can
basin.
literally walk across the basin. It's crazy.
What'd you take away from the LSU baseball scrimmage? How was Lafayette? Were they fired up? You've been over there.
I think what I took away from it is I think that the pitching staff is as advertised, and I think they're only going to get better. I mean, you look at the numbers, the stats.
1 earned run, 25 strikeouts.
5 hits. 18 innings. They've only got 5 hits. Cam Johnson, who
Hung over.
You'd imagine some of them probably hung over. Cam Johnson was number 1 pitching prospect in the country. Comes to LSU. Threw 2 innings, struck out 6. If you're not sure, it's
How many did he face?
only 6. You only have 6 outs.
Yeah.
Those 2 innings.
So that works still?
I'm
Give up no hits, no walks, no runs. So face 6 guys, struck out 6 guys.
A great takeaway would be the pitchers as advertised, but
The pitchering.
I kind of love what the offensive side of the ball did.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause to me, all we've kind of heard is like, hey, the pitching has been dominating our hitting. I don't know if our hitting is going to be up to par. I don't know if they're going to do it. Well, they went out and put up 14, so we must be doing something right. So.
Our guy Jake Brown had a good day, 3 for 5, 2 walks.
Yeah.
Here's my thing: as a young hitter, if you're walking, I think that's a really good sign, right? Like
I love that it's actually being highlighted even more
too.
in modern baseball now.
me too. Like if you have the ability to go out there and battle through and get a walk, and be not saying it's all about getting a hit, I think that's signs of maturity. I was never a big walker. Now in college, I walked a lot more than I did in pro ball, but obviously it's harder in pro ball. But it's to have that as a young age. Like my freshman year, I was not. I was swinging at everything. You know, and then you have to develop that. If you had it early on, you were able to walk early on. Like that's a big thing. It saves at bats, saves slumps. You know, get you on base, especially if you can run. So, I think that's important. Gage Jump, obviously, he's one of those guys that we talked about that's going to be in the rotation. That's going to be a potential first rounder. 2 innings pitched, 3 strikeouts, gave up 1 hit. Thatcher Hurd, 2 innings pitched, 3 strikeouts, no walks, no runs, no hits. Luke Holman, 2 innings pitched, 2 strikeouts, 1 walk, no hits, no runs. Like those 3 guys are going to be in the weekend rotation. These are the guys walking down the hill.
That's what I said, possibly a hangover. They had a day.
They had a long day. It was at 4:30. Tell you what, you had, that trophy. That's lugging that trophy around all day.
He kept giving it to Pearson all day.
Did he?
Yeah, he gave it to him on the field. He gave it to him, made him carry it down the Tiger Walk.
That's some strong detail by you right there.
I pay attention, Coach. I was locked in.
I mean, yeah, he was carrying it the whole time.
Cruz going full goatee like his father.
Cut his hair.
Cut his hair. I hate
his
that.
hair.
Professional.
Cut his hair.
No longer in college.
Looks
I
good.
guess I should take some
Had a nice
notes.
conversation with the Cruz family.
How
at
were
the
they?
tailgate. Great. Pumped.
I'd imagine Big Daddy Cruz put down some.
Oh, he was fine. He was good. He
I was
in
gonna
a
say
good
put down
spot.
some Heineken Silver.
Yeah, he was Heineken Silver. 95 calories, 4% alcohol. Crazy
Made
drink
it,
all
made,
day.
it, made it on the field.
They were pumped that they were back, obviously, and I was asking them about, Dylan's the season. They're like, yeah, it's a long year. Obviously, you win the national championship, you have these highs, and you go play, and you go. And so, it's we had a nice conversation about the autograph seekers out there and how you're the number 2 overall pick. Like, you're getting all this promotion. Like, hey, we're going to be here. He's going to be here. He's going to be here. All that means is you're going to have more autograph seekers coming out there. and hound you, and then the team's not going to give you really any protection.
I was about to say, let's be honest. Like, there's not much protection for it in some of these small towns in the minor leagues.
You don't really only get protection when you get to the big leagues.
And not just that, the way these fields are built and where they're set up, like there's a lot more ability for access. So, yeah, there's probably a lot going on for him this whole summer.
And they're making kids go get signing the autographs. It's just, but he's good.
I mean,
he
he's
ended up
always
in
handled it
AA.
like a pro.
Huh?
He's always handled it like
Yeah,
a
but
pro.
there's a lot of
Yeah, but
of
it's
pressure
different.
on
You know,
him.
like it's like I said, there's the way that some of these fields and these situations are set up. It's not necessarily
run away from it.
Yeah, it's not necessarily.
Well, and here's the
for
deal:
them.
like you want to go out there and play, and when you're done, like at LSU, you kind of have like the separation, and you have the fans here at LSU are kind of like they understand, like they love you, they're all genuine about what they're trying to do. You're in pro ball; these guys don't give a shit about you.
All bets
you know,
are
there's
off
no,
when it comes
you don't
to
know
that,
who's
yeah.
genuine, who's not. All they want is a little piece of you, and it's like, well, I just want to play baseball. I want to be a nice guy. I want to sign, but I can't sit here and sign 500 signatures that you have on this book of.
Like, you know how many times he probably walked up to a guy with a binder that had he was the last 3 cards of a page, and Dylan was like, "Oh yeah, I'll sign those 3," and then the guy flips and it's literally the next 2 pages, and you're like, "Bro, what?"
Yeah.
You want
and
me to
then
sign? Get
and
outta
you said,
here
I'm not
with
going to
this.
sign. Then everybody's like, well, you're an asshole. This. I'm like, no.
When
You're
do you-
the asshole.
Yeah. When do you cap it?
Me? I would tell them 2. Pick 2.
No,
Hey,
I'm talking about in general.
No, yeah. I mean, in general,
Like how long? Like
If anybody's sent me stuff to my house,
sign.
no.
No.
I didn't give you my address. That means you're actively looking like, no. Send it to the field. I'll sign it if you send it to the field. My house, that's creepy to me.
That
I
is
don't-
weird.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to sign that.
I think you capped it at. I always kind of went with like, let me see what you got, right? Like if you got 5, I may sign 2, or if you got, you know what I mean, like kind
Or
of give you like,
personalize it.
the more you had, I would probably not go over 2 or 3, but like if you had 3 to 4, maybe 2 to 3, like you know what I mean. But like the guys that come up to you with a ton of stuff, you're just like, nah, dude, because that's
Now I
not,
don't want to sign any
that's
of
not
it.
for your house, like it's not for you.
And that's what I'll do. So if they come, I'll say, hey, here's 2. And then I'll say, hey, what's your name? No, I don't want you to personalize it. No, I want to personalize. That's what I do. I personalize everybody. You want my signature? I'll personalize it.
That was just way
If
more
you don't
time.
want me to personalize it, I know that you're trying to sell it.
Right.
So get away.
Which is true, which is good. I just didn't feel like taking that much time, so I was like, all right, I'll give you 2.
Well, I mean, I didn't do it all the time. But like
Yeah.
if I saw a guy over and over and over again, that was my way of getting rid of him. Hey, what's your name? I'll personalize it. I don't want that. Okay. Can you put 2009 College World Series national champion? No.
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 It's not even a college card. Like, no.
That's how Mike McDaniel got his start.
Getting autographs?
Yeah, he would go out to the Denver Broncos gate, like the practices, and he knew that like some players, like what he had a like a retro, I believe it was like a Panthers hat or something like. No, it was a Charlotte Hornets hat, and he was like, "Oh, I've asked this guy for his autograph before. I can't be wearing the hat." Took the hat off. It got taken. He like somebody because it was like, "That's a cool hat." He goes back and goes to the lost and found. The guy that helped him found the hat, didn't find the hat, sent him a new hat. Was one of the people on staff. His mom ends up dating him, and that's how he got his job as a ball boy and got to start kind of in the NFL.
Wow. Interesting.
Interesting.
Hustler. Hustler. 4th down. Just started. Here we go. This one
we
here.
go.
I need the offense to get the ball.
Overs. We need overs.
All the overs. You know what? Let's stop forcing this thing. It's one of those. It's a light day. It's a light day. Let's get to the seggies.
Let's get to the segments. Mistake of the day.
Brought to you by
Doe's Eat Place.
Doe's Eat Place.
It is Burger Week. Doe's Eat Place. They got a fire burger over there. A little boudin patty on the
Where?
burger.
At Doe's?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
It's Burger Week.
It's Burger Week. All dig Burger Week in Baton Rouge. So everybody's
Wow.
doing
I'm gonna be getting
personalized
burgers
burgers.
from everywhere.
They all look fire, but Doe's,
Damn, I
as you
can't-
know,
That sounds like a great burger.
I've been doing good. I've been eating good. I've been doing well myself. But now it's Burger Week. That's tough for me not to go get burgers.
yeah. So
I'm going to go. We're going to go. We should do that. Maybe Thursday.
might be your mistake. Yeah, not a mistake of the day. It's a treat. Treat of the
Mistake of the day brought to you by Doe's Eat
day.
Place.
Doe's Eat Place. And this is probably another coach that might be on the hot seat, especially when you got, I guess it is Christmas time, if you want to go ahead and do that. But in the Arkansas locker room, they figured they might as well celebrate a little early. During halftime, they're playing Polar Express on the TV. And what are we doing?
And this guy's watching it.
Oh, but why not? I mean,
great movie.
The entire team is checked out.
Polar Express.
I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Polar Express.
In the locker room.
One, why is the TV on?
I don't.
Unless you're playing music.
And they're getting smacked too, right?
Yes.
What was the halftime score?
I'll check. But I mean, he had to. Sam Pittman had to come out and make a statement about it. He's like, yeah, we can't have that kind of stuff going on in the program.
Yeah,
It's
think.
like
Oh, you're done. That's fireable offense.
it wasn't. No, it was so
I don't care who it was.
I've never seen that before.
That's
I'm
a
gonna be honest with you,
fireable
I've never
offense.
seen that before.
It was 27-3.
That's
They're
impressive.
down to Auburn, who
That's
is
impressively
stinks out loud.
Awful.
Impressively low field right
Awful.
there.
So
Man.
there's your mistake of the day because it feels like Pittman might be looking for a job.
Wow.
Which I called early in the year.
The simple
He
fact,
did.
the simple fact
Caught
that
it last
nobody,
year, actually.
nobody
Been
on
waiting
that
for
thing was like, because he's obviously out on the field and the game's going on. That they don't understand that. Hey, when we come in here, I don't need all that nonsense on. Like to be this late in the year and into his coaching tenure there, and people don't realize like, hey man, he's gonna lose his shit if that's on TV when they walk in here.
Oh, that
Like,
thing should have been smashed by a player.
that's crazy to me.
Like, I don't even think he would have got in trouble. He's like, what the fuck is that? Like, you take a helmet to
No
it.
doubt. 27-3 at halftime watching Polar
Polar
Express.
Express.
That's brutal, dude.
That's bad.
Now,
That's bad.
If you're winning 27-3, put Polar Express on, I'm cool with it.
That's
if you're
not good.
10-0.
No, it's off at all times. Like, let's just be
You're
honest.
playing
That's not
some
gonna be on.
fucking music on there or
That's not
nothing?
gonna be on.
And, well, yeah, what LSU doesn't have, like I've seen it on the path, is they have like assignments, like what you're supposed to
That's
be doing.
my point. Like that's
Yes.
not gonna be on.
Not
there.
Polar
We're not
Express.
doing that. We're not even putting Remember the Titans up there. Like that's not going on at this time.
Polar Express.
The animated version. Tom Hanks.
Well, that's the only version they have, right?
I just read the book.
Not good.
I didn't read the book. I just watched Polar Express.
Not
Great
good.
movie.
Great
Not-
movie.
Not for
Not halftime.
halftime.
When you get
That's
your-
a good one.
When you're getting your
That,
doors
did
blown
that
off.
get your chili hot?
That got my chili hot. That's embarrassing.
Okay, Polar Express.
I'm just
fine.
happy. I'm happy that I'm not an Arkansas fan.
How do you feel if you're the guy standing right in front of it, just staring at it?
Oh, I'd watch it out of spite.
Not a spite.
Yeah,
who you
this
spiting?
is what the coach wants to put on. Cool, I'll watch it. I
No,
guess
I'm
it's what
ripping the
coach is
TV
paying
off the
attention to.
fucking thing.
No.
Yeah, I know you would have berserker mode,
Yeah, I would not be happy. if
demon
that was-
mode.
I would not be happy if that was on there. All right.
Curtain call.
Curtain calls brought to you by our friends at Assured Partners.
Man.
Me.
Oh.
Also, want to apologize for the lack of energy today from us. I will be better.
I
Wednesday?
tried to bring it.
You did. Look, there's just today was just. It had a
Funny.
lot going on today. You know, it was just one of those things.
The only real one thing going on today is I'm gonna finally give the I think it's it's been announced in other places too, but when you do something that no one has ever done in the history of college football, it's about time that they start putting your name where everyone that's at the top of college
some
football
respect
is.
on that thing?
Yeah, about time to put some real respect on it. So with 2 games left and obviously a playoff game, a potential bowl game after that, I think there's a high chance, and it's about time that we start talking about Jayden taking his seat in New York when they announce this Heisman thing. And whether he wins it or not, we'll see. But it's hard for you to sit here and tell me that he doesn't belong in that ceremony at this point right now. So my hat is off to him for doing something that we've never seen done, and that's my curtain call for today.
Yeah, class of the Heisman. Right, just
Struck
like
the Heisman.
Washington's the class of the Pac-12.
He struck the Heisman pose.
He
Y'all see
did.
that?
The last two players in LSU that struck the Heisman post, it didn't work out for them.
Patrick and Leonard.
Didn't work out for
They
them.
also both did it within like the first 3 games of the season, so that's a little different. too.
No, Patrick did it against West Virginia. It was like Game 7. I got kicked out of that game after he did that.
West Virginia was.
West
game
Virginia
7 of
was
the
not
season?
Game 7 of the season.
I don't know. It
I
wasn't
can
Game 3.
I can
West
guarantee
Virginia seems
you
like it would be a
they
Game
have never
3.
played West Virginia that late in the year.
I don't know.
Coach, Game 7 is literally Halloween.
What year was that? 2009?
8 or 9? No, 10.
Pull it up.
Oh, it's the fall. The falls always get me. 8, 9, 10.
I think it's still while baseball season was going on because I don't even remember going to that game.
Baseball season.
Like that early in the year.
September 25th. Is that
Probably the
late?
third game of the season.
No.
Fourth
Definitely
at
ain't
worst.
7.
4th at worst if you start at like what, are you
What
talking
game?
about? Not Game 7. They might have played one SEC game at that time.
I blacked out this game. I woke up under the tree outside
know.
of Chimes.
We can tell.
But I was there.
Game 7, Game 3. What's the difference?
All right. What's yours, Lloyd?
It's fourth game of the year.
Fourth.
As I said.
I mean, why would you know how the schedule works? Would you play for LSU or something?
Okay.
My curtain call goes to the one thing that you had to be there to see it, but there's a duck on the loose.
The duck.
And this one guy, this
And
is
look,
his time to shine.
This here's the deal. There's so Louisiana, nobody was worried about the duck. They were like not jumping around. This guy grabs it, holds it up. Lucky he didn't wring the neck of the duck.
Absolutely. And
they loved it.
This is all before the game. Like, so the band's playing on the field, whatever, and people are just mesmerized by the duck. And he starts circling around the field after he gets tossed up into the air. And people are cheering for him to get out because he keeps swooping.
And
he's
back.
getting air. He's getting air. And then he bolts towards the west side between the scoreboards, and the crowd goes wild. And everybody's like, what's going on? It's like,
Duck.
duck's out.
The duck. Quack, quack.
Quack. Quack.
That's what they should have done.
That's
what
Try
they
to
should've
start
done.
it.
You should have started it. You did? You tried to?
Yeah, of course.
No, you didn't.
I'm big on a chant. And I did. I was going to say.
You're a big wave guy, huh?
I fucking hate the wave. God damn it. I tell people to sit down. But also, shout out to Curtin Call. My brother got to his first game in Tiger Stadium this year. Always went to the games. We're pregame. I look over. This man is weeping. Both eyes, just eyeball crying. He's like,
That's
I just
true
miss
love.
Tiger Stadium so much. I was like, are you all right, brother? Like, respect.
Was he drunk?
I mean, he wasn't that drunk.
That's
It
great.
was-
Hey, I respect you, dude. That's real fandom right
That's
there.
great.
Yeah,
He
I
was
do. I
just
respect that.
boo-hoo crying. Which I was like, all right, yeah, take your moment in. It's the only
great.
time you get to see it.
I also saw a dude walking out the stadium with his girlfriend, and he was the one crying, and she was not. She was leading him, and he was crying.
How does that work?
That's a tough ticket.
Yeah. I did see on, like, the walkway, like, leaving the stadium, just a pool of blood in one ticket. So I don't know what happened to that person, but not great.
Not great. Not great.
Late game.
Yeah. My curtain call is to we talked about it a little bit. Is to LSU baseball pitching staff. Baseball is is right around the corner. LSU baseball, right around the corner, and a lot of excitement around the program. And we've talked a lot about it, but the baseball program, the baseball pitching staff, in particularly, is to me is going to be unbelievable. And they had 18-inning scrimmage against UL. After, I think the impressive part is what you mentioned. After a home LSU football game, going out there and taking care of business, understanding, hey, we have this, we're going to take this seriously as a pitcher. And they had 18 innings. They only gave up 5 hits, gave up 1 run, only walked 2, which is important.
And a new pitching coach.
New pitching coach, struck out 25 guys. And to me, like the pitching staff as a whole, that's my curtain call because that's pretty impressive.
Hell yeah, go Tigers.
Go Tigers. We appreciate you sticking with us today. I want to apologize for my lack of energy. That's on me. I don't usually do that often. I'm sorry. But we'll be back and better on Wednesday. I think LSU basketball plays tomorrow. We'll it'll be interesting. See what happens. Hey, you know what? The thing is, I'm going to watch it.
That's on you.
I'm going to watch it.
So, Nice is 2-0.
Everybody keep up. I'm going to let you know how my bets go tonight because I'm going to hit this parlay and be
They don't get some energy back.
road to even money, baby.
That's right.
Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you can't, or you don't like watching us, you can't watch us. We're anywhere you get your pods. We appreciate the support. The thumbs up button really does help us out. We will be back live. Oh, that's an interception. That stinks. We'll be back live from the studio Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. Tune in. We love you. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Stay dry. Stay warm. Peace.
Get wet.